computer. Okay, we are now officially, this is the 13th meeting. I can't believe it's 13 already, of the 60s Music Discussion Group. And we've covered the Beatles, the Stones, the Doors, uh, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the Beach Boys, Creedence Clearwater, and today we are going to look at the music of Ray Charles, and it's going to be more than 1 week because what an incredible output he had. And I've been recommending to people, and I followed my own advice yesterday, and I recommend that you do it soon. I watched Ray again, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on Netflix, but it won't be on for it's phased to be dropped. And I wouldn't know where else I'd be able to stream it because I was that was the place where it's most available. And seeing the movie again, uh, just flabbergasted by what a story, what a dramatic life, what a uh, what one of those films. But there's several out there where celebrities start on a great high, they go to great depths, and then they redeem themselves and come back. And boy, is that his story for sure. So if you haven't seen uh, Ray, the movie, in a while, I recommend seeing it. I saw it through Neris when I went to sort of a premiere, and there was the director was there, some of the actors, and it was a screening, and I so I was in. I got to experience the movie in an industry setting, uh, but now looking at it just from the what was that, like 20 years ago or so, and just looking at it now, 20 years hence, uh, I'm just astounded. What an incredible story. What a gifted person. What a troubled person. And what a strong person he was to have survived it all. And what a gift he's given us. So we're going to be looking at his music today and next week as well. So, does anybody have any comments about Ray before we start listening?
What was his background between Atlantic and then he started his own?
He was in Atlantic and then another company, I think Columbia, bought out his contract.
Oh, okay. And then he started his own, or
And but by that time he was pretty savvy. He played one record company against the other and he wanted creative control. I remember that when I first saw the movie, that how strong he was in negotiation, especially during that time. The complete opposite. I know Bo Diddley very well. Bo Diddley didn't get, he wasn't paid royalties. He was just given a lump sum to get a new Cadillac and to keep him happy. Uh, but he had a terrible financial arrangement, which was so common in the industry then.
Same thing happened to Ruth Brown. She
I'm
ended up,
sure.
I mean, Atlantic, the house that Ruth built,
Yeah.
and she ended up working as a housekeeper. And when I met her, we were working on an animated series that she did the voice for, and it was after she had done the Broadway show and such. But the lawyer that brought the money back to her, um, that because she had been screwed, and she used part of her settlement to set up an organization to help the people from her era who had been screwed like she was, and Bo Diddley and the rest of them. But Ray was kind of like a pre-Prince on I Want Control.
Yes. And the thing is, there was a book, because I was so into, I've told you guys that I was ready to move to Chicago. Was going to change my name to Otis Cohen because I wanted to be a blues pianist. My hero was Otis Spann. And I read a book called Fattening Frogs for Snakes. And it's about all the blues singers and how they were screwed out of their money. They never saw their royalties.
Yeah.
And even the song I had with Bo Diddley's backup singer, I never got a penny. It was with Checker, which is part of Chess Records.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how business was done then. Also, that was part of what we were talking about with Fantasy Records. Fantasy Records is where Creedence started. Well,
right. Well,
and Fantasy Records was known as Fantasy Royalties.
Yeah.
I got very, very little money from my recording there, even though it sold, it was a Miles Davis recording, and it sold over 120,000 in Japan alone. So the industry was very, very, unless you were really fought for yourself and really were a good business person or had a good advocate, Motown did the same thing to me with my
they all did it, and it persisted well into the 80s. I mean, Quiet Riot didn't see much of anything from Come On Feel the Noise. There were a lot of people, who just didn't see much of anything. Flo and Eddie, I mean, they had a whole comedy routine about how they got screwed out of their stuff from 4 or 5 different managers and record labels and such. And it was just, you were supposed to accept that's how it was. The equalizer came as the internet was becoming more popular. Because I was doing an interview with 2 of the top and entertainment attorneys. And they were saying back in 2000, when I interviewed them, that what the record labels now had over the independent artist or any artist was that they had the machinery to make you a star if they wanted you to be a star. And such. But the technology had gotten to the point where we didn't need to go into their studios and pay massive amounts of money. We could buy, recording equipment that wasn't going to cost us millions of dollars. And so he was saying that if the independent artists and if the artists can get themselves out there somehow and optimize that, then something will change. And Ani DiFranco ended up changing a lot of that because she was the first independent record artist.
I remember that.
To garner a Grammy nomination. And she ended up parlaying that into a record label. And now she has artists that come out of her label and they have fair 50-50 deals. And, it used to be 90% went to the label, 10% went to the artist. Then, oh my gosh, it went to 86%, only 86%. And Courtney Love, in somewhere in the early 2000s, wrote an article, and you can still find it online, called Courtney Love Does the Math. And she proceeds to tell you how a $1 million seller record can have the entire band owing the record label at the end of the year. And much of what she said and how the system works is still applicable today. But you're seeing these internet artists who are playing locally and stuff. People like Jesse Wells, the folk singer. I mean, he was up for like 4 Grammys. And he doesn't have a major record label deal. And it's all because of the internet and because of social media is making stars out of actual artists.
It's leveled the playing field.
It really has leveled the playing field. It's saturated with a lot of junk. But when you get through that, what Ray Charles and the artists of his era didn't have is they didn't have a place that anybody would hear them and see them because they didn't control the record stations. They
Yeah,
weren't they
right.
didn't have the money to pay to get the
The
record.
payola, sure.
Yeah, and such. But now you've got TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and Twitch and
Well,
you know,
getting back to the movie. First of all, I was really they make a very they really show how Ray Charles' mom raised him to fight for himself
yep,
and not to be talked down to, and especially as a blind child and growing up, not to think of himself as a victim and handicapped. And she instilled in him certain values that really came to his help. And he was one of the first artists to get complete control of his catalog. And so, as far as his contribution to pop music, it's in the music and it's also in the business. And that's one thing the movie was incredibly uh, descriptive of, and so we owe him a lot for that.
absolutely. The people who stood up for the rights of the artists and the writers, they paved the way for every single one of us. I mean, without Ray Charles, I don't think Prince would have been able to do what he ended
Yes,
up doing.
absolutely. And especially just like women in those days.
Hmm.
It's just like there were pioneers who broke the glass ceiling, so to speak, and
Right.
he did the financial glass ceiling. Just a second. No, there's no more. I thought we'd be getting more people. Well, fine. We're great for today. Um, let's go to, oh yes. So then he started off in Seattle with some in jazz clubs, and he played what people wanted to hear. He did a lot of Nat King Cole sort of stuff. He was recorded, and did sort of, but he never really took off. Even when he first got his first record contracts and his first uh, it, it's like he was derivative of other people's styles, and he did sell some records, but the success wasn't very that strong. Then he met the woman that he eventually married and had kids with, and she really encouraged him to find his own voice and be his own style, although she came from a religious background, and he decided his style that would make him distinctive was more gospel. And
Right.
uh, uh, that was he had a lot of problems with that because uh, religious people said, you're taking our religious music and you're selling it to the devil.
Yep.
And even had problems with his wife and family. And yet, but this is where he felt most authentic. His first big hit. Oh, good. Susan's here too. Wonderful. Susan, welcome. We're glad that you could join us.
Yes, thank you. Sorry to be late.
Oh, I know your situation, so you gave me. Yeah. Um, so we're talking about Ray Charles, and we're talking about his background. Um, and he started off in blues and jazz clubs, and he sold some records as a sort of a Nat King Cole clone, so to speak. Uh, but he never really had much success. His wife encouraged him to uh, do something unique to him, and he wound up feeling that well, his own style would be based on gospel. And so we're talking about the controversy because he did the opposite of Mahalia Jackson. Mahalia
Thanks,
Jackson,
Megan.
the blues singer who then sang the blues style with gospel lyrics. Well, he took the gospel style and did pop lyrics and sexual lyrics. And so both of them crossed from one side of R&B to the other. But anyway, we're about to play his first hit that really made him more distinctive, and that was What I'd Say. And boy, you're going to hear plenty of gospel in that. And it certainly doesn't sound, it has the structure. Oh, no, wait, I won't say anything else. Let me just play it. Let's hear what you have to say, and then I'll go on with my own comments here. So